Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 11, The Perfect Society, 4 Social Classes. And today was text number 13. Samskara yatra vichinna sadvijo ajo jagadayam vidijo ijyadhyayana dhanani vihitani dvijanmanam janma karma vadhatanam kriyascha choditha samskara yatra vichinna sadvijo ajo jagadayam ijyadhyayana dhanani vihitani dvijanmanam janma karma vadhatanam kriyascha choditha samskara yatra vichinna sadvijo ajo jagadayam ijyadhyayana dhanani vihitani dvijanmanam janma karma vadhatanam kriyascha choditha. Gopi, want to read? 7, 11, 13. Try. Reading. You want to read? Do you want to read? No? Okay. Nah. Sadvijo jo jagadayam idyayane janma karma vadhatanam kriyascha choditha. Vaishnavis. Samskara yata vichinna ijyadhyayana dhanani vitani dvijanmanam janma karma vadhatanam kriyascha choditha samskara yata vichinna sadvijo ajajagadha yadhyayana dhanani hitani dvijanmanam Jarma karma vadatana kriyascha shramachodita samskritina idani janmana samskara reformatory processes yatra wherein avichinna without interruption saha such a person dvija twice born aja Lord Brahma jagadha sanctioned yam who ijya worshipping adhyayana studies of the Vedas dhanani and charity vihitani prescribed dvijanmanam of persons who are called twice born janma by birth karma and activities avadhatanam who are purified kriya activities cha also ashrama chojita recommended for the 4 ashramas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Those who have been reformed by the Garbhadana ceremony and other prescribed reformatory methods performed with Vedic mantras and without interruption, and who have been approved by Lord Brahma are Dvijas, are twice born. Such Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaisyas, purified by their family traditions and by their behavior, should worship the Lord, study the Vedas and give charity. In this system, they should follow the principles of the 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Purport. After giving a general list of 30 qualifications for one's behavior, Narada Muni now describes the principles of the 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas. A human being must be trained in the above mentioned 30 qualities. Otherwise, he is not even a human being. Then, among such qualified persons, the Varnashrama process should be introduced. In the Varnashrama system, the first ceremony for purification is Garbhadana, which is performed with mantras at the time of sex for propagating a good child. One who uses sex life not for sensual pleasures but only to beget children according to the reformatory method is also accepted as a brahmachari. One should not waste semen on sensual pleasure, violating the principles of Vedic life. Restraint in sex is possible, however, only when the populace is trained in the above mentioned 30 qualities. Otherwise, it is not possible. Even if one is born in a family of Dvijas or twice born, if they have not followed the reformatory process, he is called a Dvijabandhu, not one of the twice born, but a friend of the twice born. The whole purpose of this system is to create good population. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, when women are polluted, the populace is Varnashankara. And when the Varnasankara population increases, the situation of the entire world becomes hellish. Therefore, all the Vedic literatures strongly warn against creating Varnasankara population. When there is Varnasankara population, the people cannot be properly controlled for peace and prosperity, regardless of great legislative assemblies, parliaments, and similar bodies. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katha Mahyam Tadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Parijana Saitam Shri Raghunathan Vitamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So Narad Muni continuing his instructions and answers to the questions asked by Yudhishthir Maharaj. In the previous text, 8 to 12, we studied what are the different qualities in general all the human beings should have, like truthfulness, mercy, austerity, bathing twice a day, tolerance, discrimination between right and wrong, celibacy, non-violence, charity, reading the scriptures, satisfaction. So these qualities, to read it's very simple, but to imbibe them in our daily activities, in daily dealings, they're really challenging, especially in the current generation. Say for example, if you take simplicity is, it sounds very simple, but to live simplicity, following the principle of simplicity is very difficult. Even when we go to supermarket, when I came to Australia 10 years ago, it was a big shock to me when I first time went to Coles. I just want to buy a small tomato can, tomatoes. But there are so many different varieties, diced tomato, crushed tomato, peeled tomato, tomato puree, that, there are so many, all just to satisfy tongue. I never heard that tomatoes come in a tin. And what to speak of other varieties that readily available, like chips. There are so many varieties. You put salt and pepper, vinegar, that's rock salt, so many varieties. And that is just to eat. And when it comes to mobiles, I have so many varieties of mobile. In that also, different pixels. Even one iPhone comes with 15. Is still iPhone 15 available? Or changed? Something maybe new comes. Which one? 16 now? Okay. So there also pro version, that version, this version. Even in the vehicles, there are different types of vehicles. And you see, it's all just to communicate. So many varieties of mobiles. And to commute, and there are different varieties of vehicles. But for a person, just to live simply, these are all not required. It's just unnecessary burden. Now, by the time you get used to the mobile you got, End of year, you will get a new version. They say, we changed little bit, that bit. But there is not much difference. Even in the vehicle, same thing. One of our devotees, he works for a car company. He does car sales. He was telling, people come to buy a new car just because a little feature changed in the advanced version. And for that, they spend so much money, 20,000 extra. But still they want to have advanced version. And what to speak of dressing? These days, people struggle so much to choose, what color matches to the bottom and up. For a devotee, it's very simple, white and white or saffron or very simple sari. And every day same hairstyle, not much change. But outside people struggle like anything. Even when they go to cafe, even to order a coffee, latte with 2 sugars or double shot, so many things. Even to buy ice cream, which flavor ice cream I had to buy? Vanilla flavor, strawberry flavor, chocolate, or this, that, so many varieties. And where is the question of living simply? So that's why devotee life is pretty much an emblem of simplicity. When we go to supermarket, we know what to buy. When it comes to dresses, of course, those who don't wear dhoti kurta, it's a different thing. But regularly wearing dhoti kurta and sari, it's very simple. Morning, you save so much time. Morning, we save so much time. You don't need to pick different colors. And other quality mentioned, control of the mind, control of the senses. Yesterday it was mentioned. That is also very difficult these days. Very difficult to control mind and senses. If you speak at all, I remember when I was working in university teaching, just in the casual time, I used to speak to my students and I asked them, I was talking just to introduce Bhagavad Gita. I was telling, do you know how to control anger? Because one of the students is very angry. I was teaching computer networking, so he has to run virtual machine. On one computer, you can run 3-4 computers within virtually. So I was teaching that, how to connect the servers. It runs on a 16 gigabyte RAM, so it takes very long time to run all the 3 machines at one place. So this particular student has so much anger problem. He was not able to wait for the computer to restart. So he was so angry, he started beating monitor. That much angry he was. So I was telling, there is something called you have to think and act. He was, what do you mean, think and act? We don't think anything, we just act. Then I was telling in an indirect way from Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumshan, how the anger generates and how we have to choose our action, not just impulsively you react. He was shocked hearing, we never heard this. This is the current generation scenario. Many of the people don't know how to control. They know how to control the remote, but they don't know how to control their mind. They just act as a remote of the different dictations coming from the senses. That's why when they get Bhagavad Gita knowledge, they think it's a far out knowledge. And today's verse, Narad Muni continued, okay, those are for the human beings. But if you read those qualities and analyze how many human beings really have these qualities, even within ourselves, we think how much we are really humans. Back in days, we have a t-shirt, being human. Have you seen that? Being human. India, it was very popular, those, especially in 2016, that time. being human, and then on the bottom they write different slogans, be kind, that, all those. Now, being human is not just having 2 legs and 2 hands and 2 ears with 2 eyes. No, being human means we have to have the qualities. So then only it makes a person human being. Like say for example, if you take gold and if you take bronze, very nicely polished bronze, both look similar. But what makes bronze and gold distinct? The quality. The quality. And similarly, you take diamond, you take some nicely polished and nicely curved glass, both look same, but the qualities are entirely different. So similarly, these days the animals and the humans look similar when they dress, but what makes difference is the quality. So if somebody doesn't have the quality, and they are not supposed to be called as humans. So that's why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita, right from the beginning, teaches us so how a person should be human. And what to speak of somebody following Varnashrama Dharma. What to speak of following Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma, people think these days getting married, especially in the Western countries, they think, one of our devotees were telling, they were celebrating their 10th anniversary of wedding. So generally, coming from Indian background, we celebrate birthdays and wedding anniversaries. Like that devotee couple was celebrating wedding anniversary, and they distributed cake and some sweets to their colleagues at office. And the colleagues asked, "What's the occasion? Is that your birthday?" He said, No, it's our wedding anniversary." "Oh, wedding anniversary, congratulations. How long you were partners for?" He said, 10 years. He was laughing like anything. 10 years? Nobody continues their relation for 10 years. It's a new thing for them. And these days we see even the politicians in the big position not even getting married, but they have children. And if somebody questions in an interview, they say, "It's not your business." So we are in this kind of generation when it comes to tell them, "Oh, you have to follow Varnashrama, you have to follow Brahmacharya, then move forward to Grihastha, then Vanaprastha and Sannyasa." I think it's an alien thing. So that's why Srila Prabhupada very nicely introduced Varnashrama system in ISKCON community. And though majority of the devotees did not underwent Brahmacharya life, because most of us, including myself, joined and came to Krishna consciousness when I was in mid-20s. By that time all the Brahmacharya, everything finished. But it's so difficult. But still, it is available for everybody to, at whatever level we are at, to practice Brahmacharya and follow the principles. And that's why Srila Prabhupada very nicely explained in the purport. So restricting, and he mentioned in one line that one who uses sex life not for sensual pleasure, but only to beget children according to the reformatory method is also accepted as a brahmachari. So although somebody got married, that's okay. But one should follow the principle of brahmacharya, that is controlling. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, and in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam also many places it explained that brahmacharya means he who controls the senses and swadhyaya, and he also learns the scriptures. So these are the two main things, and Brahman acharati, and he is always focused in pursuing the supreme reality, that is attaining the transcendental knowledge and service to the Supreme Lord. So that's the main activity. And remaining to control sama, dhamma, titiksha, all those will come followed by, as we learning the knowledge, and they gradually come. And that's why first and foremost thing, we follow to control the senses, we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Otherwise, it's very difficult. These days, it's very difficult. You just go out. Ajamil has to go in the forest. Then he saw a Shudra woman and men, they are embracing each other. But these days, we need not to go any forest. You just go to Swanson Street or you just go to Beach Road. But what is the only way to control us? Chanting the holy names. But to the degree we immerse ourselves in the holy names, to the degree we can able to control our mind and senses. And while we are controlling, while we are chanting, the knowledge of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita help us to, keep remind us what is the ultimate goal. And in today's verse, we see it's not just for one particular class, and it is for the all upper three classes, that is Brahmana, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. And why it is not mentioned Sudras? Because in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam also it is mentioned Kalo Shudra Sambhava. And Shudras are a class that their intelligence is not fully matured. And their intelligence is only at the level of work, buy, consume, die. So that's it. So that's why we see majority of the population in that situation where they don't have anything higher goal in the life. All they have is how much money I can earn and how much hard I can work to gain that money and get whatever I required, consume, and then die. Work, buy, consume, die. That's all. So that's why it's not just now, even the previous days, those who are in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance and those who are in the predominantly ignorance, their consciousness is only limited to that extent, work, buy, consume, and die. But when one elevates their consciousness from ignorance to passion and to goodness, at least they think, okay, so this work, buy, consume, die, not just for this life, but I continue my life after life. And I have born at particular time, I'm going to die, and then after dying, I will move forward to the other phases of life. It may be same, don't know where we go. So they focus on. And to get that consciousness right from the beginning of a child, so this Garbhadhana Samskara helps very, very positive way. Otherwise, these days, many of the children born just for a bottle of whiskey or bottle of, don't know. Whereas, it's like Garbhadhana Samskar. Say for example, if I want to sow some seeds, we don't sow the seed whenever we want. So before sowing the seed, we fertilize the ground properly, then we wait for the right time, right season, then we put the seed, then you expect a right plant coming out and giving right fruit. Similarly, Garbhadhana Samskar. So when we sow the seed at the right time with right consciousness and appropriate way, using the appropriate methods, and we expected to have a right child. So otherwise, right from the beginning, you see chaos. And it's not just ends at that phase. That's why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and many places it was mentioned, there are Dashavida Vaishnava Samskaras. Right from Garbhadhana Samskara until to Karma Kanda, Karma. So when somebody passes away, we perform the 11th day ceremony. Until then, right from beginning to the end. So we have different ceremonies are there. But these days, nobody follows. And even the priest, they don't encourage. I remember my father, every year, he used to perform the death anniversary of their parents and their ancestors. And these days nobody performs. Of course, for devotees it's different thing, because in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam it is mentioned those who strictly follow the Bhagavad Dharma, for them they need not to follow any reformatory ceremony, especially those Pindadana Samskar, not required. But for persons who are not following Bhagavad Dharma, the chanting and hearing, so for them it is mandatory. And what to speak of other samskaras? They don't follow anything. In Vivaha Samskara also, it's just for the photo sake. Last year I attended my niece's marriage. No more than the ceremony itself is so elaborate, but more than the actual ceremony, that Saptapadi and other things, the photo shoot is too much. And they don't even know what is the purpose of getting married. Vivaha Samskara. So that nobody knows. And people think, okay, you both get married, and even to look for the matches, they look who is earning how much and how much bank balance they have, how many properties they have. And nobody talks about what good qualities he has and how he will look after, what's his aim of life. Nobody talks about it. And that's why marriages also, they don't last longer. Love at first sight and divorce at the first fight. But Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, especially these chapters in the 7th canto, chapter 11, 12 and further down, Yudhishthira Maharaj continues asking different questions, and Narada Muni, he explains very nicely the qualities and the activities of different varnas and ashramas. And to follow that, it starts with the chanting the holy names. There is no other way for a person to reform himself, to purify himself. And none of the other processes work in this Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, the symptom is, first and foremost, we don't have much time. Everybody is so busy, and we don't have patience. We don't have patience even to chant 2 hours, and how much time we focus our mind on the holy name. So our mind is so much disturbed. That's why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam beginning only the sages says, Manda sumanda mathayo mandabhaghya upadruta prayana alpayusha. Ayusha is very low, and mandabhaghya and upadruta, always disturbed with different kinds of calamities. So one side climate change, other side war, and other side economical and financial problems, and other side health crisis. Even if you analyze last 4 years, global warming increasing. Just example, Australia is summer, is supposed to be hot and warm, but cold, and just next state and it was burning. And you see such a huge difference, climate change. And recently in the Dubai summit also, they were discussing, they want to stop whole fossil fuels in Australia, burning fossil fuel for different industries. But it doesn't work much, because individual person's consciousness has to change. And then only overall consciousness will change. And that's one side, weather change. And the other side is war. And just recently we went through coronavirus, but still different variants are coming. And the other side, if you see, economical crisis. Just from last 2 years, if you see how much house rate interest has changed, and there is no jobs available pretty much, and even the house rents gone up, and no houses to live also. And there are 80% of the homeless people are in between 18 and 25, especially in Victoria. Recent studies. Now this, even going through all these troubles, but an individual person thinks, I am living very happy without thinking anything for the future. And if even you think the crime rate has increased so much, people say, politicians has to apply new laws, they should make different policies to increase the economical condition, only then the crime rate will reduce, theft will reduce. But Srila Prabhupada was telling, it's not because of that. It's not because there is no good government, it's not because there is no proper police supervision. It's not because of that, it's because of the individual person's consciousness is fully polluted. It's the individual person's consciousness has to change, only then the global consciousness will change. So that's why in the last line of this purport, Srila Prabhupada said, when there is Varnashankara population, the people cannot be properly controlled for peace and prosperity. That's what we see these days. That's what we see. And regardless of great legislative assemblies, we have great legislative assemblies, UNO, UN, then US, there's so many countries come together, G20, but still, same problems. And parliaments and similar bodies, still they cannot be controlled. So that's why when the individual, what is family means? Family means group of people. So if individuals are in a right consciousness, that family becomes right consciousness. And what is society? Group of families. So when the group of families, individual family is in a right consciousness, then the society you see in the right order. So these days, every individual is fall apart from the family. So we hardly meet family members these days. At least in the back days, breakfast, lunch and dinner, pretty much whole family members, at least I have seen in my own family, father, mother and myself, we eat together. Nowadays, everybody eat on the way. Isn't it? And seeing the family means it's a big thing. Many colleagues, they say at office, oh, I'm going to see my family, I'm going to see my parents, as if going to see some alien in the Jew. You're supposed to be with the family, but these days nobody have family. Even a couple of years ago, I met one family, both husband and wife were working back in India. Husband works husband works nighttime for IT company. He is a tech support person. His company is situated at US. He works from India. And the wife works daytime. So they don't see each other. Only weekends they meet. They had a child. Of course, nobody wait for that. Everybody think, okay, I should have a child, even though they don't have any time to care for the child. So as the time progressed, they thought, oh, we are not able to take care of my children. I will leave my children at my parents' house. So they left it. They were working so busy. Once in 3 months or 6 months, they go meet their parents and see their child. As the time progressed, and that child not recognize their mom and dad. And the child was thinking, there are some relatives coming home. And they were telling, this is our situation. And same with the old age. So, only way, somehow or other, we have to help. We have to help ourselves first. Please take breakfast. It's getting ready. Hare Krishna. So, somehow or other, we have to help and imbibe these qualities whatever extent we can and help others. Otherwise, there is no way our financial situation or our changing the location from one place to other place or changing the country, nothing is going to work. Only way we have to change the consciousness. Only when we change the individual's consciousness from self-centered to Krishna consciousness, and at least to come aware that I am not this body, I have higher purpose in the life. Only then society can be peaceful. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 5th chapter, last verse, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam Gnatva Mam Shantiruchyati. Unless until one recognizes his position and the position of the Supreme Lord and the relationship between us and the Supreme Lord, and there is no way one can be peaceful and the society can be peaceful. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam. Krishna is the Bhokta. Bhokta means one who maintains. So it's not just my office maintains or my colleagues maintain or I am maintaining the family. No, Krishna is the original maintainer. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam. And he is the enjoyer also. And Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is the only friend and devotee of the Lord. Otherwise there is no one. Only their policy is to exploit somehow or other. Sometimes we see politicians, they become, come together during the election time. And after that they just fight before they fight. It's only to somehow or other come exploit each other. So same that goes with everybody. But Krishna and the devotees is not like that. And Suhrut is very, very important word. In Suhrut means well-wisher. So well-wisher is not the person who always sanctions whatever I want. Well-wisher is the one, he knows what is good for you. And he gives and doesn't give if it is hurting or not benefiting you. So that's well-wisher, Suhrudam. Sarvabhutanam, not just human beings, Sarvabhutanam. By knowing this, Gnatva Mam Shantiruchyati. Only by knowing that Krishna is the only benefactor, Krishna is the only well-wisher, one can be peaceful. Only then the society can be peaceful. So we have this great opportunity to perfect ourselves and to perfect and help others by taking Krishna consciousness to ourselves and helping others to take Krishna consciousness in whatever extent. So only then all the principles mentioned here may sprout in individual level. Otherwise there is no way. I'll stop here. If you have any questions or comments, we can discuss. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, I was reading about Lord Krishna's qualities, and one of Krishna's qualities were that he likes variety. So
Yes.
Prabhuji, and Kesha Prabhu also mentioned in one of his lectures that Krishna himself in Goloka in breakfast, in the foodstuffs they have 200 varieties. So Prabhu, I'd like to ask, when our final destination is to go to Goloka, then why can't we have variety here so that it becomes easy for us to get used to it when we get there?
Why can't we have variety here? We can have variety in Krishna consciousness. But in the varieties in the material world, they don't bring satisfaction. And satisfaction comes only when we engaged in the service of Krishna. And And we all have different varieties of desires, correct? In the material world, our desires, which are of so many varieties, it's very difficult for one person or group of persons in this world to satisfy. But whereas when all the desires concentrated at Krishna, only Krishna can satisfy all the different varieties of our desires. Because he can reciprocate with everybody and in whatever level and whatever desire they have. So that's why here, the more number of choices we increase, now say for example, in your exam, is multiple choice is easier or the fill in the blanks are easier? Which one is easy?
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice? Because you can guess something, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But fill in the blanks are very easy. If you know, if you have studied, fill in the blanks are the more very easy to score. Whereas multiple choice, if we are not trained for the exam, if you are not studied, when you go in the exam, all the choices look similar because you don't know what to pick. And if you have true or false, your probability of passing is 50%. Okay? Only two choices, 50% probability to pick the right one. And if you have 4 choices, your probability is only 25%. And if you have 8 choices, your probability of picking the right one is only 12.5%. And imagine you have so many. Your probability of choosing a right one, gone. But in spiritual life, when we, in Krishna consciousness, when we put all our different varieties of choices concentrated at Krishna, although it is innumerable choices, but every choice you pick 100% correct. Say for example, I want to serve Krishna just by sweeping the floor. There are different varieties of services. Because I am doing it for Krishna, my choice of service is 100%. And similarly, book distribution, cooking, cleaning, making garlands, there are innumerable varieties. And similarly, innumerable varieties of reciprocations with Krishna. You may want to love Krishna as a servant, you may want to love Krishna as a parent, you may want to love Krishna as whatever you want. But because it is to Krishna, all our choices are 100%. So that's the difference. So in the material world, increasing the variety decreases our right choice. In the spiritual world, although varieties are increasing, if it is for Krishna and to Krishna, all our choices are 100% correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So what's your choice? Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grandra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Antarangam Kandar Bhago Ikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priya